Well, we want to welcome you again to the Wednesday night Bible class for the Stonecrest Church of Christ. Again, it is our privilege each Wednesday evening to be able to come into your homes, your apartments, your condos, your places of business, even if you're just driving and viewing our Bible class tonight. Thank you so very, very much. We have been looking at the ninth plague on the nation of Egypt. Tonight, I'm hoping to try to finish it, but let's just get started. Tonight, specifically, I want to talk to you from this notion and on this topic that will kind of emphasize what we're trying to get across here in this ninth plague. As you see on the screen, I want to talk to you from this notion: no glow, no go. I'll explain it. No glow, no go. Subtitle: When God Turns Off False Glory. Let me explain to you what I mean when I talk about uh, no glow, no go, God turning off false glory. False glory is borrowed glory. It's borrowed light. It's borrowed shine. It's the kind of glow, whether it be systems, people, or idols who project to you invincibility. They project to you that they are untouchable. But when God turns off false glory, he's not being petty, he's being precise. He's exposing what looked like light, but was really a spotlight hiding rot. Ooh, Doc, would you but back that thing up? But put that in reverse. Say it again. When God turns off false light, false invincibility, false untouchability, people project to you that they are Teflon, nothing sticks. But when God turns off false glory, he's not being petty, he's being precise. He's exposing what looked like light, but was really a spotlight hiding right. What are you trying to say, preacher? Uh, if the glow is fake, you don't follow it. Oh my goodness. If the glow, if the light, if the shine is fake, don't follow it. What I'm saying is no glow, no go. Do not follow false light. I'm going to show you tonight that Pharaoh and the Egyptians presented Pharaoh as a son of the god called Ray. Ray, they believed, controlled the sun. And Pharaoh worshiped as a god controlled the land. Said that, folk really didn't believe that. Well, listen, folk believe it today. Somehow, there are almost 800 million people who call themselves Catholics, who believe that the Pope is the vicar of Christ on the earth, that he's some kind of replacement for Christ on the earth. Now, friend, how can 800 million people believe that man, a couple of years ago, who got a majority of votes, all of a sudden is a direct descendant of one of these apostles? So folk believe a whole lot of this stuff. It's not just in ancient Egypt. It's in the world today. But just because a neon sign, like you see on the screen, is flashing and branding open, even though the sign is blazing, the sign is blazing open while the doors are locked and the kitchen is empty. False glory is branding without, or rather, it is branding with empty substance. And there are times that God turns the sign off so you can stop eating at a closed restaurant. Oh, no, you didn't. Let me back it up again. Let me rewind it again. False glory is bright branding with empty substance. So God has to turn the sign off so you can stop eating at a closed restaurant. Okay, let me put it in context for you. Again, Exodus 10, verse 21. The Lord said to Moses, stretch out your hand toward heaven, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, a darkness that can be felt. So Moses stretched out his hand toward heaven, and there was pitch darkness. I explained this last week. In all of the land of Egypt, 3 days. This is not some eclipse. This is not some dust storm that has closed people's eyes. This is not some weather phenomenon. This is God in the midst of decreation. I explained that last week too. Remember, at creation, God started with darkness. Darkness was upon the face of the deep, as Genesis 1:2. And then God said, let there be light. And the text says, and it was so. And then God separated the light from the darkness. The light he called day, the darkness he called night. God reverses himself here in Exodus chapter 10. Folk had light. The sun was already there. Creation is already here. And then God reverses himself and takes light and makes darkness. But the darkness is only in the land where the Egyptians lived. There was light over where the Israelites lived. Verse 23 says, they did not see one another, nor did anyone rise from his place for 3 days. But all the people of Israel had light where they lived. See what God did? Same sky. God divided it up and says, Egypt for 3 days, you're going to be in the dark. Israel, for 3 days, you are going to still have access to light. And nobody crossed over, because the text says that the darkness was so thick. In fact, you call it pitch darkness. That's black darkness. Come on now. You can't be white darkness. You can't have green darkness. You had the blackness, darkness, so black that one could feel it. But this is what the text is saying. God immobilized and paralyzed Egypt for 3 days. It's a way of saying that everything shut down, like what happens in an ice storm, in a snowstorm, in a hurricane, in a tornado, in a power failure. Stuff shuts down. Traffic lights shut down. Hospitals shut down. Grocery stores shut down. So there is immobilization. There is a paralyzing effect. You can't move. You can't go anywhere. Well, that's what happened to Egypt for 3 days. Now, again, and I'm running and I'm hurried. Let me give you, and I started here last week, on the purpose of the plague of darkness. And I began to cover this one last week when I said one of the purposes for the plague of darkness was to challenge and to expose Egypt's light theology. Egypt had a teaching. Egypt had a doctrine. And that's what we mean by theology. Theology, teaching. Theos, God. Theology is the teaching about God. Egypt had a teaching about, watch this, one of their gods that they call, as you see on the screen, Ray. I want you to look at this image. I want you to look at how they pictured Ray. There's a whole discipline out there that is called iconography. Iconography. It is a discipline where icons are studied for their meaning and for their significance. Look how Ray is icon. Look how he is pictured. Look how he is imaged. They imaged him. Let me slow my roll here because I need to explain this in detail to you. They imaged him with a man's body. But a falcon face. Ooh. Watch the image of him. Man's body, falcon face, with the sundial around his head. And you can't see it on this one. You'll be able to see it on the next one. A uraeus, a cobra snake on the top of his head. Okay, that's significant. When you study iconography, all of these things come to the surface. See, these are pictures with meaning. They are pictures that had significance. I want you to watch the next graphic. I introduced to you last week. I'll explain it to you tonight. In Egypt, come here, come, lean in, lean in, lean in. In Egypt, pictures weren't decoration. They were declarations. Listen to me carefully. In Egypt, pictures weren't decoration. You come in my office, and I think I showed you this last week. You come in my office, and uh, I have pictures on my credenza here. Uh, I have my wedding picture. I have my son's graduation from high school pictures. I have my son's graduating from college pictures. I have my son, the one who is married, on his wedding day. Uh, and then I have one of my favorites, and that's my man Bucky here. My kids give me Bucky stuff every Christmas because whenever my wife and I are traveling here in Georgia, and we're going to Alabama, or we're going to Tennessee, um, one of the first things I do when I leave home is to find out where the nearest Bucky's travels is. I'm gonna stop it, me some Bucky's, and I'm gonna get that barbecue brisket sandwich and some red soda water and some peanuts to put inside. That's good eating. Put inside of the soda water, and I'm gonna get me some skins, and I'm going to enjoy the rest of my trip. Now, I'm also going to gas up there. All right. Now, watch this. When you come into my office, my pictures tell the story. When you're coming to my home, pictures are going to tell the story. My wife has pictures in every bedroom. When you come into the house, in the living room, you can't even look at our TV without looking at pictures of my family, because pictures tell the story. And watch this. When you see the pictures, lean in, you don't need words. That's why my statement here says in Egypt, pictures weren't decoration, they were declarations. In the temples in Egypt, pictures, watch this, were sermons in stone. Because Egypt didn't just worship with words. You can read it on the screen. They didn't just worship with words, they worship with walls. When you go inside of the temples and you look at the walls told the story of the gods and the goddesses. And you didn't need words. You might also remember that the first form of writing is a writing called hieroglyphics. In other words, they're communicating messages by way of the pictures. That's not unique. That's not strange. It's exactly the way we teach our kids. Come on now, don't you remember in kindergarten? Don't you remember before those kids learned the alphabet? They had words there. Kids didn't know the alphabet. Kids couldn't read. But when they saw the pictures, Jack and Jill went up a hill. Well, those pictures communicated ideas and thoughts to kids who didn't know their ABCs. Ooh, you teaching the Bible up in here tonight? Well, I'm doing the best that I can. So in Egypt, they didn't just worship with words. They worshiped with walls because pictures told the whole story. Now, watch the graphic on the screen now. How many times have you heard? A picture is worth 1,000 words. I mean, look at the pictures on the screen. From the lady in the white hat with hands clasped. I don't need to write prayer under there. With the gentleman with the microphone in his hand, I don't need to write singing there. I need to write preaching there. Because the pictures tell the story. Well, watch this one. It's a picture of an American bald eagle in front of an American flag with olive branches in one paw and arrows in another paw, and with the American seal, E pluribus unum, out of many, one. Now, why is that significant? Watch this, friend. That's easily decodable. That's easily interpretable. Okay, watch this with the eagle. Watch the eagles. But look at him. His wings are spread. Why is his wings spread? Well, look at the picture. He's ready for protection. But he has the flag in the background. Okay? He's ready to protect the United States of America. Oh, but he has an olive branch. Not only is he willing to protect the United States of America, watch this. He comes in peace. Not only is he willing to protect the United States of America, and he comes in peace, but you need to see the arrows. Even though he comes in peace, he's ready for defense. Well, who's he defending? E pluribus unum. Of the 51 states in the United States, different states, different demographics, different nationalities, different ethnic group, different racial groups. We've come from different places, and yet we're one. Well, that's the way you have to read the images of the gods and the goddesses in Egypt. Well, watch this one. It's been in the news. I'm not trying to make fun of the president, but this meme of the president in the last several weeks, he's been talking about taking over a whole nother nation and people group called Greenland, who is now under the protectorship and the auspices of a country called Denmark. But Mr. Trump says he wants it. And if he can't buy it, he says he's going to take it. Well, those two countries just happen to be a part of a pact called NATO, the North American Translation Organization. And there is a provision inside of NATO that says any member country that attacks, that is attacked, is like attacking all of the nations of NATO, of which the United States is one of its members. Well, but look what he's doing. He's planting a flag. Well, in order to understand that mean, in order to understand that image, you got to go back to the Old West. And it's a visual shorthand for, watch this, claiming territory. That's why in the military, uh, we go in and we defeat Iran, Iraq. What did we did? What did we do when we defeated them? Well, we took down their flag and we put up our flag. So the raising of a flag uh, in another country says this land, this territory is now ours. So the planting of a flag is nothing more than shorthand for territorial claim. Well, look at this image. I'm pressing this to make a point about the next image with Ray. Now watch this one. Back in the 60s, when the Apollo mission went to the moon, landed on the moon, one of the first things that was done was to plant a flag. Well, what was symbolic and significant about the planting of the flag? It was not to say that uh, the uh, the descending eagle or the United States of America. It was not to say we own the moon, because we don't own the moon. Nobody owns the moon. All right. It was a symbolic gesture to say we made it. It was a symbolic gesture to say that human presence has now reached and settled and landed in outer space on the moon. It was a way of saying history now has a new chapter. And it was a way of saying our national pride. Now, we know how to read these pictures. We know how to read these icons. Well, let me return you to Ray. Look at your screen. Look at him. Remember, it's on a man's body, but he got a bird face, and it's not just any bird. I just showed you the eagle for the United States. Uh, they image uh, their sun god with a man's body, a falcon face. Look at the top of his head. A Uraeus, a cobra snake on the top of that falcon head, and a sundial in the back. Now, why? Oh, come here, real. Come here, come here. This thing about make some sense. What they were imaging, what they were picturing, is that Ray controls the sun. Ray, watch this. What they were imaging, what they were picturing was this. Ray controls the sun. So Ray controls the light. So Ray controls the sky. Falcons were sky creatures. So a falcon head on the sun god communicates the sun's rule over the heavens and its all surveying presence. The falcon eyes are sharp. This bird is unusual in its eyesight. What they are picturing is This God is an all-seeing God. This God has divine vision and vigilance. Ray is the God who sees all, rules all, and like the falcon, cannot be outmaneuvered in the heavens. Ooh, me. Explain that thing. Okay, here we go again. It's a usual sight. People perceived that Ray had divine vision. He was all seeing, he was vigilant. So Ray is the God who sees all, rules all, and cannot be outmaneuvered in the sky. Come here, come here. That falcon face represents Egypt saying, Ray rules the sky. Guess who Pharaoh was believed to be? His son. Pharaoh is the son of Ray. Ray rules the sky. Ray rules the heavens. And his son rules the earth. So God says, say what? You believe that Ray rules the heavens? See if you can find him the next 3 days. See where he be the next 3 days. But then watch this. Notice on the top of that falcon head is a uraeus. In one of the earlier plagues, I explained the uraeus is the cobra face. And notice the cobra is alert. It's erect. See, I told you earlier that snakes don't have eyelids. So snakes can see over here and never have to turn their head to the right. They can see over there and never have to turn their heads to the left. They don't have eyelids. And even when you think they may be sleeping, they ain't got no eyelids. So the snake erect came to picture and to symbolize readiness, vigilance, perception, and watch this. And if you get too close, I will spew you with lethal, deadly poison. See the image? And then watch this. If the poison doesn't get you, look what's around his head. Son. So Ray is watchful. Ray is vigilant. Ray is lethal if you get too close. And watch this. and will burn any enemy who threatens light and order. So what does God do? He sends darkness. Since light represents order, God sends darkness and creates disorder. And then finally, um, I want you to see this image that the Egyptians Pharaoh would wear as a part of their headdress. See what's being pictured? Pharaoh's protection comes from Re, and with Pharaoh, that protection is lethal power. And then watch this, that can't be touched. Oh, but I'm here to tell you tonight that our God can touch the untouchable. Watch the next graphic. And then you have the sun that represents life and order and legitimacy. The system runs, Egypt runs, because the sun runs. And what does God do? He only let the sun operate in, among, and for his people. So for the 3 days, people were calling on Ray, man. Ray, where you be? And Ray had to holler back, Jehovah, Yahweh, has turned out the lights. So in ancient Egyptian society, the sun was more than a weather phenomenon. It represented divine authority, order, and royal legitimacy. So the act of extinguishing light symbolized that Yahweh, rather than the Egyptian deities, govern creation. God, oh my goodness gracious, God turned off Egypt's proof to show that Yahweh rules the sky. Now, that was one purpose of the plague, to expose Egypt's light teaching and doctrine and theology. But another purpose for darkness was to end negotiations and force the issue of surrender. In other words, God says, okay, boy, I'm tired of fooling with you. I've given you 9 chances to let my people go. And 9 times you said no. Okay. I'm tired fooling with you. So we are about to end these negotiations, and you are about to come out with your hands up. It's surrender time. Darkness shut down negotiation. Now it's surrender to God or be prepared for the final showdown. Now, watch this. Well, I'll tell you what, it's clear that I'm not going to finish this tonight. So I'm going to come back next week, finish it up, and then give you some takeaways from the ninth plague. I want to leave you with this one tonight. I want to leave you with the notion: don't follow false light. Don't follow false light. No glow, no go. Follow Jesus, who declares himself to be the light of the world. And until next Wednesday night, may the Lord of the harvest bless you, and may he bless you real good.